to Let Glory Shine. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy to be starting another episode of Let Glory Shine, the power within ascends. And I'm so excited to introduce you to Ashleah Burkeen, who is not only a friend of mine, a new friendish, like just over the last 6-9 months, but she has impacted my life in a powerful, powerful way. And I can't wait to get all into that. But like we've like when you meet certain souls and you just click and you recognize each other's pain, but most importantly, you recognize each other's healing. That's what happened when I met Ashleah Burkeen. And so I'm so excited for you to get to know her. And we're going to talk about a bunch of things. And we're also going to talk about how we are co-hosting together an event in Charlotte, North Carolina, September 12th through 14th. It's called Unbound. It's a trauma healing event, reclaiming yourself after trauma. And so we'll get into that as well. But I just want to introduce you to Ashleah. Ashleah, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me. Always so good to connect with you, though, Martha. You know that.
Yeah. So I want to jump right in, and I know a little bit about your story, but the audience may or may not. So please just share a little bit about your trauma story. Let Glory Shine is all about battle angels and people that have survived things, but have made the decision to take their life back, and whatever that means to you.
Sure. Gosh, my story is so complex, right? As you know, and anybody that's had to grow from trauma. But I was raised by a narcissist in a very crazy, chaotic, loud, angry home, if you will. I witnessed a lot of abuse, had to deal with a lot of mental, emotional, and physical abuse myself, and kept meeting those same kind of people over and over again in my life until I chose to kind of stand firm and change my own story, and kind of start my healing journey. So I think I was under the age of 15 the first time I tried, to take my own life and try to make a way out and escape it. And then one day I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired and started doing the work and put in the time, and luckily was able to meet people like you to kind of, share that with and be on that same journey together, because it's a forever journey, right? So grateful that I'm where I'm at in the point now, but it wasn't always so great, right? It's ugly. So
Right. Um, so what are you doing in your life now? Like I talk about, my healing journey is the way that I've brought Let Glory Shine to real life, right? But for me, the power is within, right? Everything that we do has to be a choice for self, understanding that we have to do it for us. So often we're like, we want to get better for our kids, or we want to get better for our husband, or we want to get better for our coworkers or our boss or whatever it is. But you and I both understand that it has to be about you. You have to make the choices for you, or they won't last, or they won't be honored, or you won't honor them, right? So
right.
tell me a little bit about that, because girlfriend, you are letting your glory shine in a real and important and powerful and inspirational way. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, just overall, I just do what I want. I might act accordingly, but I think life was through my eyes so ugly and vicious and stuff. And so it was important for my healing journey to set the boundaries, set a standard for my life, and a standard of how I'm treated and behaviors and the circles I'm involved in. And if I can't look at a flower outside and see the beauty of it actually being a flower and see the colors and the depth of it, because I have all this other ugliness and nonsense and all this loud noise around me, it's unacceptable. And I don't tolerate that. So when I say do what I want, I mean, like, I see the world and the beauty, and I refuse to see any of that kind of ugly cloud of doom stuff. And I just don't allow it close to me, because it can't affect you if it's not close, right? So,
Absolutely. You said a key word in most people's healing journey: boundaries.
yes.
That has been a huge part of my own healing journey, understanding I am a recovering caretaker. So I have had to learn how to set healthy boundaries for myself, with my family, with my work, with my community, with my church. Like, I've had to learn how to set healthy boundaries. So talk to us about boundaries.
So I think a lot of people use the word boundary and they think, like, I have to snip and cut everybody out of my life, right? And And then it becomes like a buzzword of negativity, and boundaries are not negative. In fact, to me, at least, they are vital in your growth and your healing. No matter how whatever the level is you're trying to grow, they are vital to it. Like I said a moment ago, is that you have to shut up the noise of negativity and the things that are making you believe a certain thing about yourself or about life or about what you've been through. You have to be able to shut that up and stay away from it. But also there's opportunity, because we are all human. And I think boundaries for me is self-worth and self-respect. It's not necessarily removing the individual or about the individual, even. It's for me, not for them. Because here's the thing, people don't get away with hurting you for free, right? Like, that's not allowed. We don't just get to hurt other people and then just walk through life like it's all right. And so you have to, when I talk about that standard of your life, you have to have this standard where these are what I'm going to allow, these are what I'm not going to allow. And almost like when you have core values in a business, if it doesn't align with my core values, or it doesn't align with my standards and my boundaries, then it's not for me. And a lot of times in boundaries, people feel like it's just, I have to tell them. And you get to a place where, like, in the beginning, when you start to heal, you do have to express your boundaries with people and have those awkward conversations and those difficult conversations, which could feel like conflict, right? But then you just start living out your life with that boundary, and then you don't have to explain so much of the boundary. So it does get easier in that aspect. But boundaries are very, very important. What else?
For me, it's been about protecting my peace, right?
Sure.
That has been the key of me understanding why the boundaries have been so important to me. Because when you're on a healing journey, and as you said, we never get to this end zone where we're like, and we've done it, we are healed. No, this is a process. This is a journey. This is this is a lifestyle. This literally is the biggest lifestyle that I've taken on, is my healing journey. And I'm never going to get to this end point. So I have had to insert boundaries in order to protect my own peace. Right?
Yeah.
Because you'll also find when you are on a healing journey, suddenly you become that go-to for all the unhealthy, right?
Oh my
So
gosh.
whether that's in a family, or whether that's, for me, it was in corporate, like, I was showing up differently and people saw it and they're like, we want more of that. And you become their therapist, and and I'm like, no. Okay, we got to take a step back. Like, I want to be able to help people, and I want to be, but they got to choose them first. I'm not giving out pills that are going to fix you or are going to heal you or going to help you, right? Like, you have to make the decision. No, I want to show up differently. I want to figure out what this is, right? And so I had to start protecting my peace. And so boundaries were essential in me understanding, how do I protect my own peace? Because I can't take on projects anymore. Whether that's a relationship, whether that's family, right? I can love, I can support, I can pray for, I can care, but I cannot carry. And I say this all the time. I can care, but I cannot carry. And it's another one of those boundaries. Does that resonate? You're doing a lot of head shake, because I can see it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because when you are saying, like, protecting my peace, a big part that comes up for me and not carrying, right, is the people pleasing aspect of it, right? I was raised by a narcissist, so I was always chasing people's approval and validation my whole life, right, until I started this journey. And it is the peacefulness of not being a people pleaser. And when you start your healing journey, you're right. Not only are people coming to you because they're feeling that vibe from you, but you're almost unintentionally become a therapist because you're recognizing the unhealed version of people, and you want to be so helpful, because now you know that even though it's hard, because it's hard, I'm gonna be honest, even though it's hard, it can be difficult, sometimes lonely, you know how good it feels when you come to that next bridge of peace, or breaking through that trauma, right? And so you unintentionally try to help so many people, but that feeds into your people pleasing caregiver side. And so we have to be careful too, and protect our peace. And sometimes it's okay to say, I can't take care of you right now because I got to take care of me. And just to be open with you. And I think it just would be good to share right now. I'm going through some of these boundary pushbacks a little bit right now in my personal life. And something happens when you start to set boundaries. You understand how powerful they are, and you are all about protecting your peace. And that's what your focus is that when somebody starts to come at you, or they're going through their own thing and you can witness their unhealed version, there's such a calmness and a peace to it that you show them grace. Doesn't mean you don't hurt from maybe what their actions and behaviors are, right? But you show them so much grace, and you just kind of not take it on the chin. We're not just letting people beat us up, but you don't feel the need to react to it. You don't feel the need to come at them or embarrass them or call them out or even try to fix them, because I'm very big on when somebody's drowning, it is not time to teach them how to swim. And so you kind of let them do their things. You don't, I mean, just to be honest, you don't want to punch them in the mouth, right? Because
well, you don't
you
step on them
understand.
and make them drown faster, right?
Yeah,
Regardless.
yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
But there's a
Yeah.
piece in where I think sometimes in our healing journey, and I don't know about where everybody else is in theirs, right? But there was a big part of my healing journey where I was it was so important to protect myself, but I was doing it in the wrong ways, where I was lashing out and I was being vindictive and mean and rude. And there's a piece that comes with when you set boundaries and kind of are in that healing journey, that you don't feel the need to do that. You're just like, I'll pray for you because I feel it saddens you, right?
Right. Well, you recognize pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you recognize unhealthy. You
Mm-hmm.
recognize where you were, because it's almost like a mirror reflection. I talk about this
Yeah.
a lot in my with my coaching clients, is like, they're like, how do you always get me? I'm like, because I was you.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I see like I see that mirror reflection of where you are, and I've been there. I was there for a long time, and I made a choice just like you are showing up for coaching, right? You're making a choice of saying, that's, I'm done with that, right?
Yeah.
The other piece that I think is really important of what you were just talking about is, you no longer have that emotional investment.
Right.
And that is huge, right?
Right.
When we have healed from our healing through our traumas, our specific traumas, you no longer have that emotional attachment to those things, to those people, or when you recognize that in someone else, right?
Yeah.
That's why you can just nod and say, you know what, I can pray for you, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to come down to your level, and I'm not going to allow you to take the wind out of my sails, and I'm not going to allow you to make me feel like I know you want me to feel,
Right.
because you're no longer attached to the pain in that way. And
That's right.
that was huge for me.
Yeah. Well, I think like all of that, right, goes together, because there's such a self-love that you have when you make boundaries with in every level, right? There's such a self-love and appreciation that you have for yourself, and a self-awareness that those people and that emotional stuff that you were attached to, they're not getting to me no more, because I know that's not true. I know who I am, right? I know my greatness and the way I love and what I have to give. But whatever they're saying, you're just kind of like, all right, friends, that's right. I'm big on talking about putting your armor on, right? So sometimes we like to build up a wall to protect ourselves, but when you are in healing and you start setting boundaries, you have this armor on. And I always think of like Joan of Arc. I don't know why I think of her, but maybe it's because I've
Yeah,
seen illustrations and she's just like with her chest
yeah.
armor on. But I just think of like, oh, it's gonna bounce off me, and this is my armor. I am not gonna put up a wall and not love people and care for people anymore. I just have my armor on, so I'm just ready for whatever is to come, right? And so you're
You're
prepared, but
protected. You're
yeah, yeah,
protected. You're
yeah.
protected. Yeah, and that's huge. Okay, so shifting gears a little bit, want to highlight the Unbound event that we're doing together. So excited to be teaming up with an amazing group of people to bring this experience to Charlotte, North Carolina, September 12th through 14th. This was a passion project for me for a long time, for at least a year. And then when I met you and I met Becca and I met, like, God just started putting these pieces together. And so now we are collaborating, and we're creating schedules, and we're creating ideas, and it's just so much fun. So talk to me about why you're excited to be part of this. And yeah.
I think, and I don't know, it's just maybe because I was a people pleaser. I always say I have like a Heinz 57. Like I've lived so many lives in 37 years, and have so many different experiences. And so I just have this appreciation for different types of people that kind of all have this one connection. And I feel a lot of the speaker lineup and myself, Rebecca, and Nathan, I feel like we are so different in so many ways, but we just have this one core thing, maybe multiple, right? Not just from our past, but like this need to help other people make it through, and but in wildly different ways. And I'm so excited about that because your story is different from my story, and Becca's story is different from Nathan's. Like, but it's just a powerful, it's just going to make such an impact on individuals in the room. I just know, because no matter who you are, what your story is, and why you come there, maybe it's not even trauma. Maybe you come because you just want some more confidence or to overcome some stuff. I think we're gonna knock it out of the park and be able to get people answered, because it is so diverse of a speaker lineup and what our plan is. And I can't tell you because you have to wait and see, but what our plan is and what we've been kind of setting up as a format. I just think there's something for everybody that just is looking for an answer, no matter what the answer is that you're looking for.
Thank you for watching Prospera TV Network. We hope you're enjoying the show. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Let glory shine, from the ashes I rise. Every scar a story, every tear baptized. This is my freedom, this is my climb. Let glory shine, it's the power inside.
Yes, I love that. And what I also think is so important is, you said, like, because if you don't have trauma, it's still for you, right? That is a misnomer a lot. I have people that say, I've never been through trauma because I didn't go through what you did or what she did or what he did. And then I'm like, okay, well, what's the worst thing that you've ever been through in your life? And they're like, well, my brother got in a bad car accident and died when I was 8, or my parents got divorced when I was 4 and I never saw my dad again. And I'm like, trauma.
Yeah.
Like that is trauma. Like, and that happens all the time to me, where people are like, I've never, you've been through trauma. I've never, and I'm like, so what's the worst thing you've been through? And then they start realizing that they compartmentalize these big things that happened in their life. And because they don't think of them every day, and they haven't let them define who they've become, they haven't experienced trauma. And then what's cool is you start talking about it, and then they start getting teary-eyed, and they start discovering, oh, maybe this has played a bigger role than I have given myself permission to feel.
Yeah.
And something happens when you see that, and when you get to be part of that, and they're like, oh, so that's why I do this. That's why I have poor relationships with men. That's why I hug my son extra tight, because I'm scared of that something might happen to, like, my brother, right? Those things, those connections that we don't necessarily connect the dots with, or the puzzle pieces, and suddenly they're like, oh, I see what you're doing, right? And that's crazy powerful. So I don't believe you can live the life that we live and not have been through something.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's just think about, I mean, who you are is made up of when you're little and a child. And nobody was just born a 40-year-old, right? Like somewhere along the way, we had to be a baby, a child, a toddler, right? All the things. And so it's so funny that you say that and give that example, because I was just having a conversation with somebody a couple days ago where they're like, I didn't have trauma. We had money growing up and my parents never argued in front of us. And I was like, and that's it. And I was like, it may not be trauma in your brain, like I had to lose an arm or a leg or that kind of trauma, right? Because
Yeah.
some people, they correlate those two things. I'm like, but you tick the way you tick because the way you were raised and what was modeled for you. And I'm so grateful that you had a beautiful childhood, but I promise you there's something that we could, that we
Right.
could find through that. So I just think it's great for everybody. So I think you should be there. I'm just gonna say it, everybody should be there.
Also, I love to make the distinction. People want to say like it's big T trauma or little T trauma. And I'm like, stop that. Trauma is trauma, pain is pain. Your
Yes.
nervous system does not know whether you are being chased by a lion or whether your parents got divorced. Your nervous system does not know. Pain
Yeah.
is pain, trauma is trauma.
Yeah.
So we have to like stop, like, and I understand why they want to label things big T, little T. I don't like labels. I don't
Yeah.
like boxes. I just like everybody's an individual and we all react differently to trauma, or, or make a decision to heal or not heal or stay stuck or not stay stuck, or choices, or, all of the things. But pain is pain. Trauma
Yeah.
is trauma. And when you get to the root of it, we all have a nervous system that acts the same way. And
Yeah.
our nervous system doesn't know the difference. So we have to treat it as such. We have to honor it
Right.
as such. And we have to heal it as such. Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really important distinction to make as well when we're talking about trauma.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because when I teach about setting boundaries, I say something similar to that. I'll say something similar to that. And I will say, whenever you are thinking about people in your life and you're trying to set boundaries and who's good for you and who's not good for you, so you can open up space for great people to be in your life. If there's somebody that every time their name comes up on your phone or you're going to go hang out with them, you get butterflies in your stomach, those aren't butterflies. That is called anxiety, and that's your body literally telling you, I don't feel right about this. And if you don't believe me, when you go over a small hill in the car and your stomach flips, same feeling, right? Your body's like, oh, I didn't like that. So yeah, you guys should be there because it's going to be so helpful for so many people on so many different levels. And I'm excited to do this with you guys. So
Yes, me too. Me too. All right, Ashley. So tell us what you're doing now.
right now, I am right now building into obviously Unbound and all the greatness. But right now I'm actually in the middle of working out a coaching program to help people be able to stand firm in their boundaries, be authentically themselves, and overcome all the ugly that's out there that could potentially attack their purpose. And I'm writing, actually, I wrote it, but I am writing in the middle of getting ready to publish my first poetry book because hard times make me write to cope, right? And so that will be coming out this summer.
That's exciting. And you already have another book.
Yes, I have Unloved to Unstoppable, which talks about the beginning of my trauma story. It's one of many that will be in a series, but it gives you a little bit insight about me. We talk a lot about boundaries, inner child work, and self-love, because it starts with loving yourself, and then you can make the world go around for others to help. So
Absolutely. And if you come to the Unbound event, you will be getting a free copy of Ashley's book and a free copy of my book, Glory Going All In, which is my story of growing up in a religious cult and also my healing journey. And then at the end, I share the values and principles that I practiced in order to crawl out of the hole of trauma and begin my own coaching program, and understanding who I am, who God says I am, and standing firm on that and not allowing the ebbs and flows of life to derail me or to take me off of my course, because now I have a vision. Now I have a mission. And just like you, Ashley, my mission is to be able to walk alongside the battle angels as they take their next step in their healing journey. And it's all about meeting them where you're at, right? Like you can't you can't do anything but just be you in this moment. And I want to meet you where you're at and help you take that next step, whatever that means for you. So I'm really, really excited for Unbound, but I'm really like super grateful that you took the time out of your day to come and spend this time with me and with this show that I'm feeling so grateful to have the platform in. Is there anything that you would like to say to our audience before we let you go, and then tell us how to find you as well?
Sure. I just want you guys to know that you have already been through probably some ugly and some suck in life, right? And you've overcome it already without even realizing it. And the biggest thing is to show yourself so much grace. Do one thing at a time. Take it literally one day at a time. You will get excited and ambitious in your healing journey because you start to feel better, and you'll want to heal all the things and so freaking fast. And just show yourself a lot of grace, because we don't always get it right, and it is a journey. So it's going to take some time, and find a community that's going to love you through it. And if you're looking, Martha knows quite a few. So, and you can find me on TikTok. I do a lot of this stuff and share a lot of my story and different stuff on TikTok, mostly just authentically AB. And then on Facebook, I am at Ashleah Burkeen on Facebook and on Instagram. So.
And that'll all be in the show notes as well. So we'll make sure that you didn't have to write that down really quickly. I've always been intrigued by your authentically AB. Can you just tell us where that came from? Because I've always loved that ever since I saw it the first time.
Yeah, so my name's Ashleah Burkeen, and it started, I'm big in business, and I wanted it to be authentically about business, because one of the goals of mine in the beginning was to change the way people look at business owners, like not stuffy suit and tie. We can have fun and be ourselves. And so it kind of branched from there. And then now I am big on standing and being authentic, because self-love comes from, being who you are and embracing that. So.
Coming from within, comes from within. Well, thank you so much for your time today. This was so much fun. I could talk to you for another 30, 45 hours because it flows so easily. And, like recognizes light, or light recognizes light, and I guess. And so I'm just so honored that you chose to come on this show with me and to help promote Unbound. And we hope that we see all of you there. The information for Unbound will be in the notes as well. So until next time, let glory shine, and you are loved.
Let glory shine from the ashes I rise. Every scar a story, every tear baptized. This is my freedom, this is my climb. Let glory shine, it's the power inside. This is your prosperity era, where dreams align with grace, abundance flows like rivers. You've stepped into your place. Rise, reign, and remember, you were born to shine. Welcome to your moment, Prospera, it's time.
We hope you enjoyed today's show on Prospera TV Network. Make it a point to visit us on YouTube and catch all your favorite shows anytime you want. Interested in hosting a show of your own? Or advertising your business on our network? Contact Elena Rodriguez.